Reverend Crystal Cox here. We're going to talk today about Jesus. May not be the Jesus you're used to hearing about. May not be your Jesus. I'm going to assume that you've had a chance to take a look at me and see some of the symbology around my room and on my different sites you may have been on, and that you're agreeable to an alternative form of who Jesus is. And by alternative, I mean not the one given to you on the church, as we know the church to be. And I'm not saying every church, such as my church, there's lots of churches out there. I mean the church that says the only way to get to God is through Jesus. I do not believe this. We're going to talk a lot about Jesus and what Jesus did here on earth, who Jesus really is, according to me, Reverend Crystal Cox. Obviously, there's probably millions of documents and information and people talking about who Jesus is. I'm not going to tell you who all Jesus is to all these people. I only know who Jesus is to me. And Jesus is not about the one true God, except the one true living God, which is within, which was, we will talk about another day. There are ascended masters such as Saint Germain, Buddha, other ascended masters. Okay, and also there is the collective. Okay, so there is the Christ consciousness. If you follow my stuff, you know I've followed Cryon channelings for 35 years. And Cryon is a collective. Okay, you are a collective on the other side. Jesus is part of a collective. Okay, a lot of Christians don't like you talking about Christ consciousness, but that's the whole key, right? To be like Christ. Jesus did not come here to be worshipped by man. Jesus came here to this realm, this plane, this dimension, this hologram, wherever we are in the matrix, to show you how you could be, what you could do to heal your brethren. All the plants that God had made available. God his Father? Yes, possibly. God all of our Father. There's no gender on God as a father. Jesus was teaching you about the power of the living God, of which he impersonated the living example of the living God and how to use that power to make the life you want, right? He come in, showed everybody the sign. I just flashed on there's a tsunami, right? And then you got all of those blue tsunami signs say, dry land, right? So the church is in charge of everybody, and they're hooked up with the tax man, and they're taxing you, and they're tithing you, and they're taking part of your farms, and they're harassing you and then having you pay them to take care of them. They've created their government, and they've created their police, and they've created their taxes, right? And they're working with the church, and all of the people work for them, otherwise maybe known as reptilian or dark lord. They take it over the power of the living God in the people, in human expression. They had taken it over with the church at the time, okay? Worship me, I'm the only way to the one true God, okay? Then later they say you got to go through Jesus because they hijacked Jesus, right? Anyway, back to my story. So I'm trying to have my farm, and I got the tax man that comes over. If I don't pay him, I go to jail. They beat me up, they shoot me, whatever, right? I got the religious men. They dragging me off to church. They want me to pay them, worship them, okay? The religious people get rid of my witches and my local healers, my hands-on healers, my plant healers, doing what Jesus was doing, right? Okay, they've gotten rid of all those people, and if you try, they'll burn at the stake. So they got their doctors, they got their religious leaders, they got their tax man, their government. Ain't nothing the humans could do, right? Because they were part of a greater, stronger, emotional, electromagnetic, psychic connection. Okay? So, what Jesus could do to give his life for humanity was to come here to the realm that you're in, that you know of, and all of your ancestors, okay? So I'm in that example at the time. I'm the farmer, and the back in the time of Jesus, right? And I'm trying to, I just want to just grow some food and sell some food and, read by candlelight and swim and be in love and have my kids and laugh, have a good life. But no, I got the church, I got the tax man, got the religion, got their doctors, they're all there, right? So the Galactic Council of Light, spiritual beings out there, the benevolent God, the living God, yes, but also something even bigger, right? Which you could identify as Father God, Mother God, whatever it is you're comfortable with, right? They find Earth in this state of where humans have been hijacked into debt slavery, where the church has taken them over, and all this stuff I just already said, okay? But how do we do anything different, right? We can't stop the taxman. We can't stop them from coming. There's nothing we could do. They jail us, they kill us, they, take over our farms, they steal the land, then they charge you to live on it, So what can we do to tell the humans? We can't interfere with humans' free will. So Jesus came in to give his life experience, his life as an example to you to be Christ-like, okay? Jesus didn't say, I'm a Christian, right? Come right in. I mean, how arrogant would that be, right? He's like, 32 on the scene at the time? Well, I'm a Christian. I worship myself, and you should worship me too. No. Christianity was made up by people after him, people that most of you believe killed him. People started worshiping the people they thought killed Jesus, right? More on that part coming soon. Okay, I'll just say it. To me, Jesus didn't die, okay? So the Bible used to say Jesus died on a cross. Then it said a tree, right? Mandela effect. So you follow that. More on that another time. Tons of supernatural scriptures changed, okay? So, completely forgot. Okay, so Jesus comes in as the example, and he says, hey, the government is stealing your money, is oppressing you. Come with me. Those doctors are lying to you. And so, come with me. I can show you how to heal with the plants that God gave you, the water that God gave you. All the stuff's already here for you, okay? Whatever ailment you could ever have. And then we are electromagnetic beings. I can heal you. I can restore your energy field with my restored energy field. I can restore your organs, your body, your bone with the power of the living God. And Jesus showed him that the power of the living God that lives in the plants, that lives in your very own hands, that you could heal your brethren. You could heal those in pain. You could heal, right? Showing people they can heal themselves. They don't need this government, tax man, doctor, religion. They don't need this oppression, okay? Jesus showed every one of them how to use the power of the living God here in the now. Not, I will heal you here and now, but I'm going to judge you in the afterlife. So fear my Father, because you're going to be judged later. Okay? No. In the here and the now, he healed people. He forgave people, right? Now, if I go and forgive someone, what am I really doing? As a healer, as a teacher, I am teaching you to forgive yourself. Because it's never out there that you need forgiven. You need forgiven in here. Right? Right. So, Jesus doesn't say, well, just you're laying there dying or in pain, so we're going to, go over your Santa list of sins and see whether you're deserving of healing or not. But his Father does that right after you die. Logical? No. Does it make sense that an all-loving being would come to the realm that you're in to be an example to show you what you could do? To do hands-on healing, energy healing, faith healing, electromagnetic field to electromagnetic field. Raise the vibration and the consciousness of each person that he healed, who would then do that to plants and animals and water and other people for not only the rest of that being's life, but every life and generation in that DNA line that was even touched by Jesus. to show you how to be persona of the living God. Okay? Not to worship Jesus, but we can't have all of these witches and these sorcerers and these evilers. We can't have all that. And you know, the Bible was written way later, right? It wasn't like Jesus didn't write the Bible, right? And Jesus wasn't a Christian. So the church at the time, right? The doctors, all the people who think they're your gods and overlords, which were, we won't get into this, but part of the reptilian experiment, part of the, you know, just kind of hijacking humanity and putting you in debt slavery, right? Way back then. So Jesus, right, you see the pictures where he's flipped over the table of the tax man, right? The taxes are evil and sinful. The church is evil and sinful. The government is evil and turns over everything and defies all of those systems to show you how to be Christ-like, to show you how to be Christ-conscious, to show you how to be your highest and best self, right? Yay, we have a hero, right? Okay, well, the big daddies at the time and then come in, and then they're like, no, you cannot heal with that plant that grows out of the ground. You must heal with this thing I made up, which will actually kind of not heal you, but keep you coming to me for life, just barely keep you alive, creating the reality I want you to create for my dark agenda, right? You cannot use the plants to heal. You cannot use your hands to heal, which is your living God, your source energy, divine right, healing each other with your hands and your intention, your thought, your sound, your tones. You carry that. Okay, they can't have all the people knowing that. Okay, so they arrest Jesus, they take him. A lot of people believe they killed him. I believe he lived on, married Mary, and they had the daughter Sarah, and that lineage is out there. So I study that stuff. I study Jesus and the Lost Goddess, and a lot of stuff on Jesus moving on. In the last couple of years, there was a bridge that was opened up to this sacred area where they said that Jesus had went and studied with Buddha. And it was in, I think, India and Japan were kind of fighting over the territory. That's really cool information for another day. But so let's just say they killed him. So as the story goes, they put him on a cross and they killed him, right? Who's they? The church, right? The same church that all of these followers then worshipped after Jesus died. Oh, you killed this guy we love, who's now they personated as their God, but we love you. Okay, so basically they're shutting down all the healers, shutting down all of those people who are using their power, who's apprenticing with Jesus, learning how to do hands-on healing that was given by God. Whether you believe it's his Father, whatever, given to you by God, okay? The plants from Mother Earth, given to you by divinity, okay? Thoughts, okay? Prayer, how to work with the energies where you're at, within, God without, how to work with all this. Jesus is teaching all these people. And so the church demonized them, turned them into witches, burned them, did horrible things, got rid of them, okay? And exalted the doctors, exalted the taxman, the government, the church, okay? And all the people, instead of continuing on with Christ's work, Christ taught them something as their apprentice. Instead of continuing on with his work, they gave up. And they kind of had to, because the killing, the oppression, the forced medicine, the forced taxes, the forced it's blasphemy if you don't worship my God my way, okay? They took it over. So if the people believe that Jesus died on the cross, okay, they're all his apprentices. Say there's hundreds at the time. Say there's 500 of them. I mean, maybe there's, tons more, but say there's 500 apprentices and their master dies. They go on and they teach the hands-on healings. They teach the plant medicine. They teach it all to the best they can in secret. A lot of them, probably most of them, are rooted out as witches and as evil, right? And gotten rid of because Jesus was against the church, against government, against taxes, against medicine from their doctors, and taking it away from the divine natural perfection that Mother Earth already was. Okay, so then, so Jesus is gone. So these guys maybe tried to carry on with this stuff, but they were persecuted, right? Okay, so then the church gets a statue of Jesus on a cross, right? The last thing I would want from someone that I love is a lifetime of watching them die. He gave his life for you. Yeah, he did. As a living example of the living God in you to create the reality to free humanity. Instead, it inverted and it oppressed humanity. Because I don't want a statue of someone I love dying. Okay, they took that, they made that, and they made that a God. And the only way, there's too many people love Jesus, right? Because everybody'd heard about it. Just the love, never having felt unconditional love of Jesus, which there's no such thing as time, and I have felt it. I have felt it. There's other ascended masters, Saint Germain. I don't believe Jesus is the one true be-all, but I have felt that energy. And I'm sure those people did. So they really wanted Jesus, and they were really upset about it. So the ones that were, the church said, fine, okay? They took the man they murdered, they made a statue of murdering him, and then they wanted the masses to worship them. And the only way they can get to the true God is through Jesus, who they killed. This is not logical to the unconditional love that I have felt and what I know to be my Jesus. My Jesus was the personification of the living God. I don't know about your Jesus. I imagine you learned from some church long ago, right? What is the religion? What is denominations about? Separation, division. Well, there's this version of Jesus, and there's that version of Jesus, and there's this version of Jesus. Who is Jesus to you? And time does not exist. And Jesus, Christ consciousness, immortal, just like you. Okay? When I have felt Jesus move through me, I have been communicating with Jesus my whole life, and other ascended masters, and talking to spirit. But in the last couple years, I've had some profound experiences where Jesus came to me, and I was working with people who talked to Jesus every day, who were madly in love with Jesus. Jesus was their way to God, their way to salvation, their way to everything, really loved and tried to actively personify Jesus. Okay? And so I was working with them, and so their deity, their joy, their connection brought Jesus in. So when I give people readings and their guides and their masters come in, yeah. But when they work with Jesus and Jesus comes in to tell them something, sometimes they think I'm a little too intense because it just burst through me. But the first time Jesus did that to me, I was speechless. I kept trying to talk, and then I just had to just sit because it was so profound. I couldn't talk. Other times I'm pushed to talk and say things really, really fast because when I'd run into someone, that's kind of a weird light shift, huh? When I'd run into someone, because the energy of the Holy Spirit would push through me so fast that I would need to get it out because I wasn't stopping and thinking about it ahead of time. Okay? So we've established that I'm there at the time, okay? Pretending I'm there. Oh my gosh, and like Luke, right? There's some incredible books about St. Luke and what a magnificent healer he was. So a lot of them went on to do Jesus's healing work. Body, mind, soul, plant medicine, energy medicine, medicine from the sun, the frequencies of the different planets. Jesus taught all of this stuff, okay? What do some people call it? Heretics or witchcraft or all this stuff, but really what it is the power to the people. The medicine in the hands of the people. Don't tax them and oppress them and govern them. Leave them alone, right? So people went underground to teach this healing work, okay? So if I'm there at the time and I'm like really wanting to teach it, I'm going to be heartbroken, right? They've killed him. And whether the death was staged so he could then escape, whatever. Well, I'm following him there and I'm learning and I'm feeling more love. Like I just said, I've felt the love of Jesus. I'm feeling that for this man that I know that's teaching me and all the people around me this amazing expression and healing abilities of the living God that's in me. And I can use the power of the living God myself as a mere human, a mere mortal. Wow, right? I just love this man. And then the doctors, church, tax man, government, they don't like him because it takes away their power and their money and their oppression over us and using us they bring fear on us to get us to create reality for them. And we learn one day that we create our own reality and we get rid of them. Right. So I'm at the time, and I've learned unconditional love, and I'm feeling so much love. Let's just play with lights here. I'm feeling so much love for Jesus. And like I said, I felt it. I know what I must have been feeling at the time. And then these people kill him. And they put up a statue or a trophy of their killing this person. People want to say my God, someone I looked up to, someone that was my hero and my teacher. They killed him, and they made like a photograph of it, right? A statue is kind of a photograph of the time. And that's in all the squares and all the shops, and taught to all the kids, right? Jesus gave his life for you, and you must see him bleeding out on a cross. That in itself is horrific and sick, right? And the bloodletting constantly. So because there was enough people like me, and my example at the time, and all of my children and children's children that carry the love of Jesus Christ, they had to stop us from having direct power to Jesus and to be like Jesus, to actually be the kind of Christian that is like Christ. They, working with all the governments and all the money, did more and more and more to oppress, shut down, jail, license, poison with their remedies, and blah, 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 blah. And it's still happening today, right? So this first kind of little chatter here on Jesus is that who Jesus is to you is who Jesus is. But if someone has taught you that there is a God of fear, remember, fear is not love, okay? And that you need to get down on your knees and praise to your God, Jesus. Jesus is not your God. And Jesus, he may be a gateway to your God, but you don't have to get to your God through Jesus. And you are God. I am God. I am a creator God. I work with and am part of the living God for all of you. All of you can call upon the living God at any time. All of you can have a best friend in Jesus. Talk to him. Bring the energy in. Okay? I thought I was talking to him my whole life. I felt the connection my whole life. I studied Jehovah's Witness stuff, studied the Bible when I was young with my grandma. I studied with my dad made me go to every church in town before he'd let me go to the Jehovah's Witness church. Only reason I wanted to go to the Jehovah's Witness church because my grandma was there. And she died when I was 18. Long stories there. But, and kind of forgot the plot. So, anyway, I've seen several documentaries on Jesus's life and Jesus and Buddha and the goddess and all this, because I've seen churches where they've removed the women. I've been to churches in Ireland that you can see where there was like a woman that was a priest or pastor, and they actually chipped away and distorted at the picture to change it. So removing the feminine divine. And so we are bringing back the goddess, but not to replace the God. We are rising the feminine divine, and not to take out the masculine divine, but to blend in sacred unity. There has been a rise of what they call the feminine divine for many years, but really this is just kicking the ass of the masculine divine. Okay, blah 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 blah. We've equalized now. Okay, it's all about you individually. You have been a man, you have been a woman, you have been beings on other realms. You may have been trapped here on earth for a long time, being recycled, your soul recycled by those same people we just talked about. The tax man, the government, the church, like the Catholic Church, the priests, the Vatican, all of that stuff. They hijacked your soul. Oh, go to the light, go to the light. They kept recycling it, okay? Thousands and thousands of years, right? And so they send Jesus in to help you. Be like Jesus. Jesus was not a Christian, okay? Being part of the living God is not sitting there beating yourself up about, oh my God, Jesus wouldn't like this and Jesus wouldn't like that and you should be more like Jesus, you should be more like Jesus. That's not the Jesus that I've felt. Okay, there is an unconditional love that fills your body, it rattles you, it gives you a shake, and you'll feel calm, so calm that your tongue won't even move. I was trying to keep on wagging it because I had my story to tell, and boom, calm. Okay? The kind of love you feel when the Holy Spirit moves you, you cannot unknow. And you can sit there in that chair and you can tell me I didn't talk to Jesus and I don't talk to God and I'm not psychic and I can't see and blah, 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 blah. And I don't care. I got my own personal relationship with Jesus and with other ascended masters and with my own higher self and myself. And I know that I project my own reality with working with the living God, and it has nothing to do with you. And I wish this for you. It has nothing to do with your parents and nothing to do with your adult children. Nothing to do with the tax man and the church and the give me your money and do this and do that. Boy, that light really is shining on me now, isn't it? That is just too funny. Okay. Where you give your focus is where you give your life force. Everything's all distorted now. Which guru to listen to? Okay, which channel to listen to? Which denomination? Which God is the real God? Which God is the only one true God? Let me tell you up in here right now. I'm going to tell you who the one true God is. You are the one true God. You are the personification of the one true God. And every thought you have is part of the living God. You have the power of Jesus Christ in you. Will you be afraid of the church? Will you be afraid of the governments? Will you be afraid of all these imaginary enemies? What can they do to you anyway? Put you in their prisons and feed you till you die. You will still be beaming up your light. What they gonna do? Kill you and recycle your soul? My soul is so bright. And I have known the love of Jesus Christ. I will come back again and do the same thing. There is no evil that can diminish my light. What about you? They don't get to tell you who Jesus is to you. No sacred thing, no book, not even a meal, nor a box of cereal. Can someone else tell you what it tastes like, what it feels like to buy it, what it took to buy it, what it feels like in your body? No one knows but you, unless you try to pretend to be their version of you. And that's the whole distorted reality they did to Jesus Christ in the first place. He come here to give his life for you, to show you how to give your life for yourself, and for the living God creating for everyone wonderful beauty, love, and bliss and joy. Oh, darn! Those dark lords come in and they took over your mind. But what could you do? Just like now, what can we do if they keep coming with their guns? If they keep coming with their poisons? If they spray things in the air and in the water? And blah, 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 blah. I don't know where this light's coming from. What can we do? Right? I can't stop two men coming up, and I can't stop whatever's put up on me if it's really wanted to put up on me. If it's in the air, right? If it's in my drinking water, if it's in my favorite candy snack, I can't. If something be wanting to be got to me, I'll be got it, right? But what I can do is bring in the power of the living God. And I can know Jesus and be like Jesus, and my vibration will be so high, nothing will touch me or affect me, and nothing will diminish my faith. And the love that I know that I have felt through Jesus Christ in me, I know that I will repel anything that would damage my soul permanently. And if something is to kill me, then so what? I'm not afraid of death. I have seen the other side. I have moved realities. I have shifted in and out. I do not fear death. I know I am not my body, and I know that Jesus did not die that day, nor can he ever. You can call upon him now as your best friend to bring you guidance, to bring you signals and signs and synchronicities right now, this very moment. Oh, yes, indeed, I call upon Jesus. I have a few times. I don't do it every day. I work with my higher self. I bring in my own power. I be Christ-like, and I work with the living God to create my reality. But then I fall into the dark night of the soul, and I cry, And I lay there freezing. And it's going to get colder, and it ain't going to stop 3 weeks in the current weather report. And that day I cried out to my brother Jesus. My brother Jesus, who had already ascended, already been through all the courses. He already knew the road ahead, for he was the scout and he was the example of the living God. And my brother Jesus sent a woman to me that day that brought me in out of the cold. And in that day, Jesus saved my life. Now, I do not believe that I give my life to Jesus and I am saved. I do not believe that there is a judgment in the hereafter. There is a judgment in every single moment, and that judgment is you judging yourself instead of changing your thoughts and being part of the living God for the highest and best joy of everyone. Who is Jesus to you? It does not matter what any book says. It does not matter what any guru says. This goes for anything in your life, but of course this video is about Jesus, right? You don't need to let Jesus's rejects regurgitate, recycle who Jesus is to you. Okay? I'm not going to read the book. Oh, let's see. Jesus said that we can't have applesauce onto our pork chops. Or, we can't have pork. Or Jesus said, listen, okay? Jesus didn't write down what he said, right? And whatever it was Jesus said, it sure pissed off the powers of the time because they killed him and made a monument for us to worship of him dying. Whoa. Okay? Death. Instilled fear. God, fear is not love. Fear cannot be in the same location as love. And this light cannot be in the same location as my face. I don't know where it came from to fear God. But I fear God, they say. So I'm afraid, so I'll be a good girl. And then when I die, then I will just walk up to the pearly gates and then they will judge me there. No, that's not how it works. The living God is here and now. And all you have is your forever now, even in death. Which I don't believe there's any such thing. I have shifted realities visibly. I don't need my body when I dream. I don't need my body if I astral travel or bilocate, right? Haven't mastered the bilocating thing yet. Still working on a few of those, but there's people who do. But you know that whatever you're doing in dream time isn't using your body, so you know that you really don't actually need your physical body, your human vehicle, to experience life. I mean, last night, man, I drove cars, I was out on boats, I built things so much in my dreams, and I wake up and then I'm like, oh, well, it's like, this is the dream, right? So I don't need this holographic reality. I watched a video the other day about, can a holographic reality have density? Turns out it can. So I'm like, no, because if I was a holograph, you'd be able to put your hand through me. Well, no, that for another day. Okay, don't let anybody tell you who Jesus is. Sit down. Great I am inside. Call in your higher self, your guides, whoever you call in, and ask to know the love of Jesus Christ. You want to know the love of Jesus. Spirit, show me the love of Jesus. And they got y'all afraid, right? You can't be a Christian witch. You can't be pagan. You can't love the plants and the animals. Of course, surely Jesus was pagan if he was anything, right? Teaching about all those energies and all those rocks and all those plants, right? And some alien gods in the sky. Surely that was a little bit pagan, right? They distorted everything. And all you can do now to know is to sit with the energy. Call in the energy of Jesus Christ. Ask Jesus to be with you and just feel that energy. When we ask Spirit, happened to me forever. You ask Spirit, ask Jesus, ask your guides something, you get something back and you just you question yourself, right? You don't know if it's real or if it's some distorted voice, and who knows, it could be some brain cell from any other cell in your body or some other voice, so you don't really know, right? So one way to know is to first just call in Jesus and feel it. That way, when you ask a question and you have that feeling, you'll know that it's coming from Jesus. And this was just shown to me now. So, you go, Jesus, I ask that you be here now. Then you expand. It's almost like air from within of love. And you're just so proud to be in your body, right? And then you ask your question, trust the answer that you get. Okay? When people are like, well, how do I know what my guides are saying or God's saying or what's, well, if you're all butthurt and triggered by a movie or someone calling or the news or somebody said something on the internet, then you're in that energy when you're asking. Okay? It's important the energy you're asking from, because that's the answer you'll get, right? Because each choice is a different timeline and a different parallel reality, right? So if you're sitting there all in and you ask the question, you might get, well, go down this lane. So then you'll kind of go down from that point. It's like I teach you my ascension stuff or my how to create reality in your timelines. You got to be here now. So if you're going to be here now and then ask your big life-altering spiritual questions, you're going to be led down a road of right? But if you bring in the love of Jesus and you work with the living God, and you're in that energy and you ask your question, you can trust what comes to you right away. And that's going to be down that road of unconditional love for yourself. Will it be the wrong choice? Well, there's no such thing. It's all experience, right? Will it be a choice that you enjoy and that gives you unconditional love, or will it not? Will it be a choice that takes you closer to the living God and to knowing the power and the unconditional love of Jesus Christ? Or will it be a choice that, I got to do this. God says I got to do it, God said I want to be a good Christian. I'll be like Jesus. Jesus was Christian. No, Jesus wasn't Christian. Okay, so it depends on where you come from. Okay, there is so many people, and by so many I mean most of them, that think it's dark, think it's evil, think it's negative to talk about the things I talk about. And I call myself an all-denomination preacher. And the reason that I do and have an all-denomination church is because I love spirit. There is spiritual truth in everything, right? I find it and then I write about it and I bring in information and I call in my spirit guides and call in the love of Jesus and I interpret it and I write it and it brings up these amazing things for me personally. And it's not just one religion. Like I said, I grew up studying the Bible, the King James Bible, the Jehovah's Witness, and plus self-help stuff that my mom had around. We didn't have a lot of metaphysical stuff. I started that at 16 with harmonic convergence and learning about alternative stuff and of Jesus and more in depth. And so I've studied so many different religious doctrines, audios, channelings, and channeled myself for a lifetime that I don't say, well, I'm a certain denomination, because that divides, right? The only real rule of the church is live and let live, right? It's not a place to convince you that my way is right and the one true God, right? Like if Jesus is here now and he's just some guy in town and a lot of people like him, each person have a different friendship, right? Some people might know him because he's selling honey. Some people might know him because he built a house or because he's a healer or because he did this. Different people have a different relationship with Jesus if he was a real man right here in front of you right now. And part of a community or been here forever, generational families, how that is, right? You've known everybody in town, generational, like 5 generations. You have a different relationship with each person. And that's how it is with Jesus now. Your relationship with Jesus is not about what anybody tells you that your relationship with Jesus is about. Okay? Go within. Ask Jesus to come to you. Feel it so you recognize the feeling and then just talk to Jesus. Okay? Yeah, it's fun to watch things on the internet, spiritual stuff, and get different ideas, and fun to read spiritual stuff, but it's all tools to learning how to create your own reality. And that's what Jesus came here to do, to teach you how to create your own reality, how to get away from your oppressors. And he wasn't saying that, yeah, they got all the guns, they got all the money, they're going to come in with I'm not saying guns at the time, but whatever they did to oppress the people, violence on the people to be their way, wasn't necessarily saying, well, stand up and fight back, like just throw your stones or whatever. He's teaching them to not throw stones, right? And to forgive and unconditional love and the divinity of plant medicine, energy medicine, and calling on and working with the living God, right? He's teaching them all of that. I kind of lost that thought. But the powers that be, okay, right. So teaching, right. So not saying to fight back physically, but teaching them the power of the living God, and that every one of your thoughts are part of the living God, and that you create your reality. So project a different reality. Don't believe they have the power. And then that will fade away. And part of the mass collective. But if you're all afraid and you all believe that the government, the taxman, the church, whatever of the times had the power, if you believe that, then you give over your power, not necessarily physically, but you give your creation powers, because you are quantum and you literally project a holographic reality that you live in. So if you believe that they have the power to do what they're doing, then that's going to be created more in your life. If you believe they don't have the power, but you still comply, it's kind of different. Okay, so you have to talk to Jesus about this for you. But the real point here is that your relationship with Jesus is with you. Okay, I'm going to do these videos, a few of these, telling you about my Jesus, okay? Because my Jesus is a hands-on healer, a faith healer. Okay, can heal you over realms and distances, and wherever he is right now in his energy can be called upon to heal you right now. There's no such thing as time. Okay, my Jesus used all sorts of plant medicine. Okay, there's no plant that's illegal. The word illegal was made up by men. Okay, every disease is man-made. Okay, they got lists and lists of diseases. Okay, that isn't how Jesus taught us to heal. Okay, the person comes in, you scan their body with your energy and with the love of the living God, and you see what they need. You give them a hawthorn plant, or you give them some marijuana, or you give them some of this plant over here. You give them some sacred water, some spring water from over here. Okay, the essence of this or the energy of that. Okay. That's what you do. You don't cut off body parts and radiate and chemo and flood them with poisons to heal them. Okay? Jesus was a healer, and he can be called upon by you right now in working with the living God to heal yourself and anyone at any time. Okay? Jesus gave his life for you as an example and as part of the living God. Your thoughts are part of the living God. If you believe Jesus is there and going to work with you, you feel that unconditional love and that power, then that's what will be there for you. And if you have the people around you saying, you can't do that, you have got to have this pill. You can't just wave your hands over somebody magic sorcery like in some movie and heal them. The hell you can't. That is what Jesus did, and that is what it is to be Christ-like and to work with the power of the living God. You contain it all. All of these entities don't want you to know that. Okay? You don't need a guru and you don't need a God. You are part of the living God. Ask your brother Jesus right now, your ascended master Jesus right now, to tell you. This is not about what I believe or any denomination or all those little separate, only this road goes to God. You are God. There ain't but one road to God. How many roads are there to every single human being? You do not need to go through Jesus to get to God. You are God, and you are part of the living God. And as far as some benevolent creator above all of that, that is up to you to decide in your heart what is true for you, and not any piece of paper, especially not some Bible that was channeled by a bunch of men, took out the women, changed the rules. We don't know what was really said, and they use it to oppress you and to keep you in debt slavery and to take away your tears and to tax you for the growing plant right out of the ground. They steal your land, they dam up your water, and they sell you the water. They sell you the electricity. They take your land and they charge you to live on it. They make up money. All of this because you believe. Right now, ask Jesus to be with you. Learn how to be present with yourself and how to change your thought. No, you may not be able to change everything that's going on in the world right now. That is not for you to do. For you is to check yourself, to find out what you believe and logically unwind all that was taught to you